What's up, Space Engineers? Motherfucker Jones here, and I am very excited today because we are talking about one of my favorite subjects, small grid fighters. Why? Well, because they're stylish, their effectiveness, and most importantly, they're fun. Yeah, very fun. So from right to left, we're gonna go from oldest to newest of the fighters that I've made. And we're going to go ahead and talk about their capabilities and whatnot, and just give you an overrun of what they are. So here is the TE-45. By the way, these are all TEs. The TE class of fighters stands for Threat Eliminator. That's not really important. What is important is that they're, well, they do what they're meant to do. They don't really... They don't really come in as the fleet's main battle unit, because you probably have large grid ships that can do that purpose better. These are meant for maybe more strike runs, specific targets that you've had in mind. Fighters like these are good for that, and they're also good for intercepting and taking out other fighters, which also might be trying to take out your big ships, as you know. But this one is really special. This is a new one that I've made. Actually comes with, well, in my first attempt at functional wings that actually move and fold up into a landing position, that also are equipped with the ship's weapons. Well, most of them. You do have that middle gun down there in the middle, but most of the Gatlings and both the rockets are actually placed on the wings, and all these TE Threat Eliminator fighters will basically be powered by small hydrogen tanks that are intricately piped up throughout the fighter because of durability reasons. The small tanks don't explode as well violently as the large ones do. Plus, if one tank gets shot out, well, you still have 27 more, so yeah. And there's your folded out wings. Isn't that freaking sweet? I think it was sweet. It's not that much weight. Oh, and if that's not cool enough for you, how about that? Those decoys on the end of the pistons, man, I love them. Basically, all the Threat Eliminators come standardly equipped with that because they are just so goddamn effective. I can't really explain to you in words how effective they are when you're just going one-on-one against a large grid ship. I mean, I have videos of it. I'll go ahead and look in my archive, but I will give you videos of me taking out larger grid ships using the decoys in a smaller grid fighter, just battling it out, you know. But that's another video. This video we're going to be focusing mostly, if we can, on the statistics of these vehicles. So I will try to be going into detail on their armaments and their PCUs. I'll try to bring up the info page for all of them. No promises, actually, but I'm sure we'll get to all of them. So as you can see, this one's pretty maneuverable. Not so much in the roll, but that was meant that way because of the subgrids hanging on the edge. It just doesn't maneuver as good. You also get a camera in the center for sniping shots. That's what the center gun is for more precise shots, because the wings, as you can see with those guns placed out so far, sometimes they don't line up directly center to the target that you're shooting at. But the middle one will, so at least you get that. So anyway, we are going to try and find... yeah, I think I lost the line of ships flying out this far. That's okay, we'll just find it here in a second. I'll just edit this part out where I'm trying to find the ships. Yep, they're gone. So, back at the line of ships, we are going to continue on with the TE-599, and this ship has actually been very useful. Like I was mentioning before, I had video clips of me fighting larger ships and basically beating them, you know. I'm talking military transports and shit like that. practically beating them. If it wasn't for my clumsiness, definitely would have. But this ship comes with a little bit more. You got spotlights. You got a little bit more conservative set of thrusters. Let's see, on the bottom here we have, let's see if I can count. We got 1, there's your ore detector, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. You got 10 bottom thrusters for planetary use, and you got 6 small forward thrusters. We got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 on each side, and then you have 4 forward thrusters to stop you. Wait, no, reverse? Yeah, you know what I mean. And let's see if I can just turn on the thrusters here. There we are. And this one was actually made in survival. Some of these weren't. Some of them were made in creative, but the concept carries over in survival. This one was made in survival, and it worked out fantastically. And this one actually comes with a turret on the top for if any other fighters were chasing you behind you, you'd have some defenses. And this actually comes with 4 decoys. Instead of the standard 2, you get 4. Roll isn't that good. Most of these come equipped with 4 to 6 gyros. Well, some of the larger ones have 8. But the weapon capability is very, very good. And let's see if I can remember. Yeah, you got spotlights there, and I'll see if I can remember to go into the info page for this ship. Because I have a feeling that I'm going to forget to do that with a lot of these ships. Like I was saying. Anyway, this is the... I'll probably get back to it. This is the TE-440. And it's a smaller ship compared to some of the other ones. It's very, very, very minimalistic. You don't even get armor around the cockpit. You get a very good set of thrusters, though, for high maneuverability. So your main speciality and use for this ship is to basically dodge instead of taking a few missiles before you actually realize, oh crap, I actually have to start maneuvering. Yeah, this one you basically have to do it right off the bat, or else you can kiss this sucker goodbye. But if you've been noticing, on the bottom right hand side of your screen, I leave up the stats bar when I enter in most of these ships. If you want to take a look, I actually am toggling on and off the antenna so that you can get a better idea of the power consumption for each of these ships, because they're hydrogen powered and they all have these standard, you know, decoy deploys and weapon placements, but the power consumption in the batteries is what really differs from most of these builds if you're actually looking at this video from a stats perspective or whatever. You know, these are small and rated ships. They only really are as effective as the pilot, because most of 90% of what you're doing against, you know, a larger target or a target you rather couldn't take on just simply lackadaisically, you'd have to be maneuvering. I'm talking full thrust up every time you see a shot fired at you. I'm talking roll every time you think you can't dodge just by popping up. You know, that's what these TEs are meant for. They're basically meant to be nimble enough to where you need it, and just, you know, steady enough till you can still get an acquisition on your targets, especially if your target is another fighter, which can be quite small, especially some of the drones out there, as we've all seen. So, popping out of this thing, oh, look at that. I get to give you guys a PCU count and everything for this one. So moving on to the TE-632 Blackbird. This one, I tried, I don't know, you guys tell me how I did. I tried to kind of make it look like the SR-71, but like space style. I don't know if I did a good job. I didn't really want it to be as big and as long. I kind of wanted to like midget it up. I don't know if that's the right terminology for that. Dwarf it up? Is that better? That sounds better, right? Anyway, you got actual large grid, not large grid, you got actual large tanks on here, you get actual large batteries on here, and the side thrusters are actually internal, So I didn't forget about them. If you're looking at the ship, like, where the hell are the side thrusters? They're on the inside. I won't really tear apart the armor to show you, but you gotta believe me that they're on the inside there. There's like a center column. And this is also sealed as well. So you're probably like, well, good job, Jones. How the fuck do you get in? Well, I don't. No, I'm kidding. I totally do. I There's this little door back here. You just kind of have to get in the right position in between the H2 gen and this conveyor here. You can't get into the conveyor because obviously they'll take you to the conveyor ports. But if you get to the door, it brings you right in. Look at that. So we're kind of like sealed through glass, and we have a cockpit. So it's kind of like a double glass room-ish. And you get a ton of firepower. This one does not have decoys. But the trade-off there is that you get much more firepower with a TE of this magnitude, so really the decoys are almost negligible. You know, you're basically be shooting out your enemy before they get a shot at you. That's the idea behind these, basically making them so powered that they are actually almost overpowered. So anyway, moving on to the TE283A2. A2 just means that there was a previous version of the 283 that had basically everything on it, but maybe I missed a few things, like let's say a decoy deploy system, and or maybe something else like an antenna, or something more serious like a connector. Who knows? Maybe gyros, because you know I'm just so famous for that. But anyway, pretty small fighter. This is about as minimal as it gets. I really didn't even want to go for style on this one. I was kind of just going more for like a robust scout ship looking thing. And I think I hit the mark, right? What do you guys, tell me what you guys think. You know, I kind of want to see you guys in the comments. If you guys care to comment and tell me what fighter you guys like the most, because your comments might influence me later on a video that I'm going to be doing, which might use these fighters in a more machinima style video. It'll take me a long time to do it because my editing skills aren't the best, but I'm getting better, I promise you. So anyway, like I said, 283 comes with everything standard that the other ones do, except there is no rockets on this one. It is a very, very simple fighter. I think it's probably less than 3,000 PCU. There's not a lot going on there. Well, you know, comparatively. Anyway, moving on to the TE692 Aardvark. This Aardvark is not like other TEs to where it does not also have a deployable decoy system, kind of like the Blackbird, but that's because of the... Basically, it's because of the amenities it comes with. I don't know how much tanks are on there, but I do know it's enough to keep those large thrusters powered sufficiently in the alien planet for about 30 minutes. Well, I wouldn't say 30 minutes. I think I tapped out at 30 minutes, but you know what I'm saying. Now, if you're wondering what those things right there are, those are actually the bottom of more tanks. So there's a ton of small tanks on this. And you also get a front and rear cockpit in case you wanted to, you know, haul a passenger around or a VIP, or maybe they wanted to take control of that rear turret there manually. They could do that. So you got 6 Gatlings and then just one non-reloadable rocket launcher in the nose for, you know, a strike and retreat, reload, refuel. That's the thing about these small grid fighters. Even though I've got this one pretty well protected, you don't want to stay in the battlefield situation very long. You kind of want to take the Star Wars Rebellion approach to your strategy of fighting. You just kind of want to do a hit and run tactic on your target. So now I'm just going to go back and do what I told you guys I promised I wouldn't do. You know what I'm saying. Going back and showing you the PCU and info for some of these ships that I have forgotten to. I apologize. I'm sure not most of you care that much, but in case you did, you wanted to see the numbers, at least you could pause the video at that moment where I put the numbers up. So moving on, this is the Te501 Rambo. Now the Rambo is actually designed for a specific mentality of player. Can you guess who? Well, it's actually designed for two specific mentalities. One, for the guy who just really, really cannot resist diving headfirst into the middle of a bunch of firefights between ships and just loves to get himself blown up. This ship actually will help him a lot because it comes with 6 turrets on it, which will all target enemies for you. Plus, you have a good amount of forward-facing turrets, and you get a large hydrogen tank, meaning that the novice pilot doesn't have to pay attention to their fuel consumption as much as they would with the small tank conjunction that I've come up with and all this crap. So this one is basically a noob's dream. You got large thrusters in almost all direction. Not so much in the left and right, but that's okay because you don't want to get people used to using their lateral thrusts like that reliably. You want to get them used to other things. So here you can see you could snipe out an enemy target quite accurately. These bullets and these rockets practically overlap each other. See, I just literally shot a rocket out of the air there with a bullet because your fire is going to be very focused with this, and then not to mention you have all those turrets to help you. And now this is the TE9A2. The A1 did not have the glass in the front protecting it. This one will be fed the rocket launchers through the connector port. That is the only storage because the back of it's used for the small hydrogen tanks which power it. This is just basically another standard TE. You get your decoy deploys, you get a pretty conservative set of thrusters. Basically, all these fighters are good for atmosphere as well. I've tested, I want to say I've tested all of them. Yeah, I've guaranteed test all of them in the alien planet. Matter of fact, I think I've built more than half of these legitimately in the alien planet. So I've tested that 1.1 gravity, and they seem to hover just fine without taking up too much fuel. Obviously, there's going to be more fuel because, but it's not that bad. So, here are the stats for those ships that I forgot about. Here's the roll on this. Probably a lot better than most of the other ships, considering it's a smaller size. Also a very concentrated area of fire with this. Moving on to the TE95. What can I say? I'm not gonna beat around the bush here. I saw a Jedi Star Wars Jedi Delta 7 starfighter, and I just really love the freaking look of it. I can't help it, So I tried, and this is what I came up with. Wasn't really going for it, to completely replicate it, but I wanted something kind of similar, and I think I did a really nice job. I really like it. Plus, it's got everything a TE does, so it really just fits into the family, with a whole new kind of style. And I feel the styles are important because it gives the pilot options to choose from based on performance and armament and size and all that stuff. The pilots are as picky as people as anybody. But anyway, it's getting into this thing and looking at the weapons and the camera. You get a camera with this one to focus in fire on your long-range shots. You can see you got a transparent LCD, you got rocket launchers on the sides there. Got your decoy deploys that tuck away nicely into the wings there. They don't even stick out at all. Gyros are really good on this one too. I think I put 6 in it. Now moving on to basically the grandfather of the TEs, the 127. Now this version is the C2. Basically all it really has is well, most importantly, it has tons more fuel tanks on it than the original, and the paint job is a little bit better. And also there comes, on the C2, there comes with 4 additional downwards thrusters for improved space handling. The 127 was actually named because, well, that's how many seconds you got until the fuel tanks ran out. Now, you considerably get a lot more. I'd say you could probably get 10 minutes of flight in planetary gravity until the thing probably will need to be refueled. The C2 also was designed to fly in the alien planet, so there are 10 bottom thrusters compared to the original, which had 8. And this one, I've just done so much testing with it. I mean, I've it's like my go-to, you know what I mean? It's just got that weird look to it that brings me back every single time. And this was the first ship that I really started to experiment with the whole small tank, stacking them in lines and making sure they connect to the whole ship, and, you know, find out the pros and cons of them. Obviously the cons are you have to have frickin' 50 of them and it chews through the PCU, but the pros for a ship like this is it makes them so much more durable. You know, that makes them actually useful, and I think that's really important when it comes to space engineers. I don't know what it is. You know, most people they love building these ginormous ships, and they look freaking amazing, and I'm even sitting here in awe and jealous of how they are. But then I think to myself, yeah, but does he even drive it though? So that's what we're gonna do here. We're just gonna go ahead and take this TE-127. We're just gonna go ahead and fly it around a little bit, because I just love ships that look good when they fly, you know? I feel like if you're gonna build a ship and have it look good, then don't make it fly, just make it a station, because then you wouldn't have the excuse of saying, yeah, but does it fly? You know what I'm saying? I don't know, maybe I am crazy. Tell me if I'm crazy in the comments. Oh, I cannot wait to hear those. Anyway, speaking of the comments section, since you guys seen all 10 of these ships, like I was saying before, I'm thinking about doing a video to more exclusively show the power of my rotor-powered plane cannon. I want you guys to basically give me an idea of which of these fighters you guys thought was the best of all of these that you've seen here. So I'll tally up the votes when I'm able and ready to make that video, and I've got it all set up, and then I will basically use the fighter that's of everyone's choice as a support vehicle in that showcase video. So yeah, and if you're still watching this, thank you, sincerely. You're the ones that really make a difference out here on YouTube to the little guys like me.